top and let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs. That's right, guys. Put some respect on their names. But there is some breaking news coming out of Kansas City earlier today. Wide receiver Rashee Rice has officially been handed down that 6-game suspension by the NFL. This all stems from his role in a high-speed crash, a.k.a. racing, back in 2024, and is going to sideline him for the opening stretch of the Chiefs season. Guys, let's dive into what this means for the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, and the fan base in general, and Rashee Rice's future in the NFL. So, guys, here are the details, what we know about the suspension, right? Rashee Rice accepted the 6-game suspension without an appeal, avoiding what could have been even a lengthier punishment if he didn't decide to appeal it. The NFL initially wanted at least 8 games, but by agreeing to terms, Rashee Rice will now be eligible to return Week 7, just in time for that big divisional matchup versus the Las Vegas Raiders on October 19. Now, obviously, this suspension knocks him out of some major key games to start the season. Obviously, the opener in Brazil versus the LA Chargers, a Super Bowl rematch with the Philadelphia Eagles, a showdown with the New York Giants, the Baltimore Ravens, and of course the Jacksonville Jaguars, and then the one and only Detroit Lions. Guys, clearly, these are not throwaway games. The Kansas City Chiefs are facing playoff caliber teams week in and week out without arguably their number one receiver. Now, the legal troubles have been stemming for Rashee Rice from this last season when he drove his Lamborghini 119 miles an hour on a Dallas highway, weaving through traffic just before causing a multi-crash and left with multiple people injured. He did flee the scene and instead of checking on the victims. He did later plead guilty to felony charges of the collision involving serious bodily injury and racing on the highway. He was sentenced to 30 days in jail, 5 years probation, and over $115,000 in restitution to the victims. He does have some flexibility, however, on when he does serve his jail time. But the damages to the reputation, he has already paid that off. But on the field, guys, we have to not overlook Rashee Rice. He has been there when the things have gotten tough for the Kansas City Chiefs fans, right? When Rashee Rice is healthy and focused, he is legitimately the number one, if not a top 10 receiver in the NFL. His 2023 rookie season had 79 catches, 938 yards, 7 touchdowns. He looked like the perfect complement to Travis Kelce, and it took him a while to develop that role. He didn't really develop that role till right about postseason time, 2024. He started off hot, 24 catches, 288 yards, 2 tutties in just 4 games before tearing his ACL thanks to Patrick Mahomes. Now, the Chiefs are going to go back into a year without a guy who has had easily been a 1,000-yard receiver back-to-back healthy seasons. And let's not forget, guys, the Kansas City Chiefs just stacked their wide receiver room with Hollywood Brown, Xavier Worthy, and of course, they still got Juju Smith-Schuster still in the mix. That team carried 8 wideouts on the 53-man roster, clear preparing for this exact scenario. But the impact on the Chiefs is going to be dynamic, right? Now, the suspension does leave Patrick Mahomes without one of the most trusted young targets on the team. Sure, the Kansas City Chiefs are built for adversity. Yes, they did go to the Super Bowl without Rashee Rice last year. However, losing Rice against opponents like the Eagles, Ravens, Chargers, and the Lions could really hurt the momentum early in the playoffs. And the AFC is too stacked to overlook teams in September and October. Every game matters, and without Rashee Rice, Andy Reid is going to be leaning hard on Hollywood Brown and Travis Kelce to carry the passing game. But here's the bottom line. Rashee Rice had a chance to cement himself as one of the next top stars in Kansas City. Instead, off-the-field decisions have him sitting nearly out half the season, and he's only 25. He's still got time, but the Chiefs can't afford to do this and become a pattern. So my thoughts on this whole situation, guys, this is a self-inflicted blow that could cost the Kansas Chiefs critical seeding in the AFC playoff picture. Yes, Rashee Rice will be back receiver Week 7. Yes, the Kansas City Chiefs will weather the storm, but the damage may already be done. But probably not, but it could. So, guys, I want to know your thoughts. What are your thoughts? Did the Kansas City Chiefs do the right thing by not cutting Rashee Rice and just letting the NFL hammer down their suspension, right? That is my big question for you guys. Me personally, I think Kansas City Chiefs are going to be just fine without Rashee Rice for the first 6 games of the NFL season. They are built for this. This what makes them dangerous is when they do not have a true number one receiver. So let's jump into the comments, guys, and let's hear your thoughts about this. Will Olsen is in the chat, and he says, is D-Hop playing for the Kansas City Chiefs this season? No, DeAndre Hopkins did sign with the Baltimore Ravens this offseason. He did go over there for a chance to win a Super Bowl, right? And arguably, I do not blame the guy, because if you look at DeAndre Hopkins and the Kansas City Chiefs, he would have been the third, if not the fourth receiver on this roster, right? With a healthy Rashee Rice, with a healthy Xavier Worthy, and a healthy Hollywood Brown. Those are your 1, 2, 3 guys. D-Hop was on the outside looking in. So, yes, he did ultimately go to the Baltimore Ravens, which is a good move for him. It sucks that he is no longer a Kansas City Chiefs, but it is what it is. Excuse me. Over here on the old tickety talk machine, people are asking, why do you love the Kansas City Chiefs so much? They're just Tay-Tay's boyfriends. Like, what? What does that even mean? So, yes, Taylor Swift is getting engaged to Travis Kelce. Yes, they are going to get married. Yes, they're going to be probably happy for a very, very long time. But come on, like it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. Tay and TK, they can do whatever they want. But the truth of the matter is, guys, the Kansas City Chiefs are going to be just fine without Rashee Rice for the first six weeks, first 6 games. Come back. And bada bing, bada boom, they're going to smack the old Las Vegas Raiders in the mouth come week 7. Alpha Rob says, Rice not going to be good this year. He's coming off an injury and hasn't played in a while. This is exactly the one thing that I am kind of worried about, Alpha Rob. Because there are threats of people saying, oh, you can sit out this, whatever, right? Micah Parsons is going to sit out. This person's going to sit out, yada, yada, yada. When players sit out, not by choice, by injury, whatever, and they get in this legal mindset, and then he's going to be out for another 6 games. So he's going to legitimately miss, 22 games after it's all said and done? That is nearly 2 full football seasons, right? That's a year and a half of a football season that he will not see game speed, game contact, all that kind of stuff. He's only 25 years old, right? But listen, 25 years old is kind of ancient in NFL terms, especially wide receiver terms. The one thing that a lot of receivers rely on is their quickness, is their route running, is their hands, right? When you are not running routes, when you're not doing this, and this against game time competition, you're going to be rusty. You're going to lose a step. It's going to take you time to gain that momentum. So, and then coming off the LCL injury, that's even bigger, right? That is a very, very tough situation. With that being said, if Rashee Rice was on any other team, let's say he was on the Miami Dolphins, let's say he was on the Cleveland Browns, let's even throw out a mediocre team out there, let's say he was on the Houston Texans, I think his comeback would be a lot slower. But the fact that he is on the Kansas City Chiefs, the fact that Andy Reid and the Chiefs practice so hard, they practice like they play 9 times out of 10, and the fact that Rashee Rice doesn't have to be the guy. He's going to come back faster, bigger, and stronger. He is going to come back with that chip on his shoulder. He's going to come back ready to play football. So, yes, he has not played a year and then plus 7 weeks, but I think he's going to be okay. But what do you guys think? Will the Kansas City Chiefs be okay without Rashee Rice for the first 7 weeks of the NFL season? And will Rashee Rice come back and kind of do his thing at the end of the day? I'm curious to what you guys think there. Curious.